The Angle Slam
podcast.
You didn't warn me about that one, did you?
No. I improvise.
Oh.
I didn't even know I was going to do that.
Smacking it down.
But I thought I'll go with... Hi.
You should start doing that now, is making random noises.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're back again.
Yes.
Under better circumstances.
Yes.
In both wrestling and lockdown.
Yes, the lockdown in the UK, well, in the England, is officially all kind of lifted, and everything is, for the most part, all back to normal. Hopefully it'll stay that way.
And it's fucking hot.
It is very hot today.
Yeah.
And then wrestling, they've got the crowds back as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I suppose we'll get into, but it definitely helped.
Yeah, I mean, a personal shout out and a death, unfortunately. The death is Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
Yes, so we'll dedicate that podcast to him.
Which, to be honest, I thought he was a lot older, but, it was one of those where I just thought, even a few years back, like sooner or later, his times is coming up. Because, I mean, when you headline WrestleMania 1, we're now at WrestleMania 37, it's like, he's not that long. But yeah, it's still horrible, but, this happens, so dedicate to him. And just on a personal basis, happy birthday to our friend Matthew Goff.
Mr. Matthew Goff, yes.
So you better listen to this.
The last year of his 20s approaches.
Oh, we're going to love you for that.
Still champ, though.
Yeah. Let's get into that later, shall we? But do you want to do your thing?
Like, subscribe, share, all over different podcast places, Google Podcasts, Castbox, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple Music, all the usual stuff. Just type us in anywhere and you'll find us.
Yes.
Or just click the link tree thing.
Because we're that popular, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. But
I'll be honest though, man, going back to our friend's birthday again, it would have been kind of nice if he'd won the belt for his birthday. Like, I know he's not here with us now, and I don't think I'd be able to get it to him, but
I did think
it would have been nice for him to actually win it.
I did think, though, like, for no one listening will really give a shit about this, but we're heading to Scotland to watch SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And we're meeting the friend in question there. I thought, God, if you had to take the belt all the way to Scotland to hand it over to him, I mean,
and he just gives it straight back.
I did think
that would even be worse.
He'd really appreciate it. Like, oh yes, here's the belt, and at the end of the night, it's like, here you go back, fucking sake. But who knows? I mean, like I say, it might end up that you still end up giving it by the end of the night.
Well, I mean, closing in, I think he's second. He's second place.
Yeah, he's closing in.
So
anyway, back to our.
Yes,
non-personal stuff.
Money in the Bank 2021, first pay-per-view back with fans, and like I said previously, it definitely made a difference.
I really enjoyed this. Like, really.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. There is a couple of niggling points I suppose I'll get to, but for the most part I was entertained.
It was...
like I said, it felt good having the fans back. I know I've got to have a little bit of a kind of breather in the fact that they're going to pop for literally everything. Because,
yes.
You know what I mean? So some things that happen, you're like, well, that, on a normal circumstance, that probably wouldn't get a pop, but everybody's going nuts.
It's the same way where we had to kind of look at the way, the Thunderdome way of like, oh, it was shit, but under normal circumstances, it probably would have got a better reception kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm taking that with a pinch of salt, sorry, I'm dinging. But at the same time, yes, the fans helped a lot. I'm going to turn my phone off.
You seem to never remember to turn your Wi-Fi off, do you?
I'm a popular man, what can I say? So, popular-ish. So, bear with me when I do it. Power off, right? Okay, so, the fans' return obviously helped a lot. It was one of the main things where I was showing interest in this show. Mm-hmm. And not just for the fans, but for the show involved. It was the first time I, in a long time, properly watched it. A lot of the time it was like every now and then I'd fuck around on my phone, or it'd be in the background, or I'd be doing something in the kitchen while listening, or something like that.
Yeah.
This was the first time, for the most part, I sat there and watched it and enjoyed it.
I'll be honest, I did as well. I mean, I think maybe only a couple of times I flicked on my phone, but most of the time it was between entrances or something like that. When it was actually down to what was going on in the ring, I was paying attention. There was plenty of times I actually was on the edge of my seat as well.
This was the first time in... Again, I can't speak for the fans that were there, but the main word I felt from everybody that was there, and in my house at least, was investment. Yeah. I was invested in most of it, and it's been hard to get invested in anything WWE nowadays. Yeah. Not just because of the Thunderdome stuff, but because of the product in general.
Yeah, it's been crap.
Yeah, this was like almost kind of proving maybe they were doing what we spoke about a few weeks back of just
holding off.
Coasting.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have been doing.
They shouldn't have done, but if that's what they did, and they suddenly released it at Money in the Bank, it paid off, and I enjoyed it. So first was the pre-show, which I didn't watch.
No, I didn't watch either.
But we did do a prediction.
Mysterios versus Usos. So as far as I remember from what people said, it was a reasonably decent match. Usos winning.
You probably went with Mysterio the same reason I did.
I thought because of what happened with the DUI with Jimmy, he was going to get the pin and he was going to get punished because of it. So honestly, I put Usos in my predictions, and literally 2 seconds before I posted my predictions, I switched out. Purely on that fact. Because I thought that's what they normally do. Whenever someone's done something bad, they get a bollocking for it. And that bollocking, to me, they can't do much because he's in the Bloodline storyline. He's quite integral to it. What's the thing they can do next? Get him pinned.
I just also thought... I did think that, of like, it's the way WWE kind of works. Sometimes, we've heard about people being punished and gone, well, fuck that. If it's... yes, it's a bad thing they did, but it's integral to the storyline that this has to happen. Yeah. It should. In this case, it wasn't one of those big important things where you could have easily gone, look, we were going to give you those belts, but you fucked up, so you're going to have to wait a few months to get it. Because I've always understood, I might be wrong, but I've always understood that those, there's people who go, oh, it's kayfabe, so championships mean nothing. Blah, blah. I've always understood if you hold a championship, you get paid more.
Yes, and why
would you give that to Jimmy?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing, is like, it should be... Like, I understand storyline-wise why they won the titles, so I get it,
yeah,
absolutely, but I don't think at this moment he deserves to have it because of what he did. They should be dealing with it privately, so if they went the way we said and he got pinned and everything, I don't agree with that, because he shouldn't be getting punished in front of people because something he did privately. If it was a private thing, you deal with it privately. You bollock him behind the curtain, you fine him. And you leave it there.
For all we know, we might have gone, look, for storyline purposes, you're winning the belts tonight, but you're not getting the same pay as a championship champion.
Yeah, maybe it'll be something like that. And that'll be the kind of best balance.
Yeah, and I also just thought, number one, the Mysterio's reign has been quite short. I thought it could have gone a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I think they kind of cracked out with that, really, because they could have done that at Mania and really pushed with this whole father-son thing, and they just shit out with it. They didn't do anything with it, and it's such a shame. I forgot they were the tag champs.
I didn't forget, but I also thought, okay, they're a credible source because of like the whole family thing and what the Mysterio name represents. But I also just thought, A, what have they done, and B, on the other side, like, did they even get a chance to do anything?
Yeah, they didn't really. No.
I mean, there might be a rematch later down the line, potentially at SummerSlam, if you throw a stipulation in there, like a steel cage or Falls Count Anywhere. That's cool. The other reason I thought as well was just, I thought it could add to a promo later down the line of, again, just feeding Roman's ego of once again speaking down to you. So it's like, you let me down again.
And that was another thing I thought, that they could easily continue the storyline where it doesn't really affect it if they did lose, because he could just boldly say, you didn't get the job done. Like I asked you to do. You failed me.
Yeah, and then it feeds more to like, but will you beat Edge, motherfucker? From a fan's point of view.
Yeah.
And also, they've referenced sort of what Jimmy did with the DUI. Just a little like, oh, and you. Almost like, without saying it, but with the fans know.
Yeah.
He could have fed that the opposite way of like, you failed me again, whatever. And especially look at Jimmy, like, and you seem to just be failing a lot recently, and then just, that kind of thing. But obviously, I get the other side of like, now the bloodline holds all the gold, and it adds more fuel to the fire for that. Yeah. So I understand it, and I'm okay with it. It's just,
I hope that Jimmy got his just desserts privately.
Yeah, because of what happened with Jimmy, that's just not the way I would have booked it. Yeah. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
So the main show opened with the women's Million the Bank ladder match, and like you say, the pops were strong because it's the first time they're giving pops.
They were literally going nuts for anything they could get their hands on, really. And I understand that. It's been so long since we've all been there together, apart from WrestleMania just gone.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand.
Alexa got a big pop, which on the same time, I was kind of like, okay, they're kind of. I think they're probably all fans are pretty much, I think, in the same boat of like, we're digging this new you. We're just not sure about certain parts of it.
I think it's the kooky side of things that they're not too sure.
Yeah,
about.
and for what it's worth, she's nailing it.
No, she's taking shit and trying to make it.
Roll it in glitter.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
she is, and that's fine. And I think she's doing a really good job at doing the best that she possibly can. It's just, I don't know whether it's working. It's starting to kind of tail off, and it's not really for me.
She needs to drop that hypnotising thing.
Yeah, like in the match when she put her hand up, like she thought she was going to bring the.
I thought,
to
don't
her.
you fucking
yeah,
dare!
Exactly, that's what I thought. I said, don't you dare!
Yeah.
Don't you dare do that!
Even if it had moved, I'd be like, no. Luckily, she didn't get the
even
chance.
if it was the other way around and Bray was in the men's one and did that, I'd still be saying the same thing. Don't you dare! It defeats, but it still defeats the point of the ladder match.
It does.
You have to climb the ladder.
But even with Bray, it's like with what Alexa's become because of Bray. It's like Bray never did any of that shit. No. He never even gave you the impression of the fact that he has those abilities and powers.
No, it's
so where the fuck did you
psychological stuff.
Yeah, so where the fuck did you get this from?
I don't know. I think it's meant to be Lily that's given her powers.
Yeah, but to me it was more the hypnotising thing of what she did with Nia and what she ended up later doing with Zelina.
Yes.
Like, forget that.
So she was doing that and walking her down and hypnotising her, but I thought, what are you gaining from this? Because you're walking down the fucking ladder as well.
It's just stupid. It was just stupid. But what was interesting, there was a few people that got... like Tamina finally got booed. She was
getting booed like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, Natalia kind of got it mixed a little bit.
Yeah, but everyone else pretty much got their cheers.
I thought with Nikki it was kind of... not monotone, but just kind of generic of just like...
I think it's because people don't know what to think about this, like with this new gimmick, and apparently it is her idea.
Well, I'll get more into the gimmick.
It's just, and I'm not a massive fan of it. Obviously, we all prefer the original Nikki Cross. Yeah. Of course we all do. But if this is what she has to do to get Vince's attention, then fair enough. I mean, it is what it is. The gimmick seems to be working. It's
her way of going, look, it may be kooky and a bit shit, but I'm showing you I'll do anything to grab that brass ring. And maybe that's what's impressed Vince. Like, she's willing to go the extra mile.
Yes.
And I'm not going to call her Nikki... Well, I thought it was Nikki Ash. Now everyone's saying it's Nikki A-S-H. I don't like that.
Almost a superhero.
Yeah, I don't like that, and I can't call her Nikki Cross, so I'm just going to call her Nikki.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's just, I'm not really buying the superhero thing. But yeah, so what was it? Tamina, Natalia, Zelina, Nikki, Alexa
Liv Morgan, and Asuka.
And one more. It was 8, weren't
oh, God.
Oh shit! Is it Carmella? No,
No, it Carmella.
Zelina, Natalia, Tamina, Asuka, Liv. I've already forgotten.
Alexa, Nikki. Who's the 8th one? Who was the 8th?
You couldn't have stood out then.
You're gonna have to comment down below, guys, because otherwise we'll be here all day.
Yeah, we will be here all day.
But anyway, I think they all got reasonable pops overall. But again, it's probably because of the crowd.
Yeah.
The match itself, it was structured quite well. I enjoyed it. It was just fun opener. They had plenty of spots. I liked the powerbomb with Liv on top of Asuka, I think it was, or something like that. I can't remember, onto the ladder.
One of the things that I was trying to think things that stood out, and I don't mean that as a bad thing, because the match was kind of in the spot of like, this is the first pay-per-view match back with the crowd, so they're going to be like revved up. So you really would have had to fuck up Big Star for this not to go down well, especially in a ladder match.
Yeah.
So it was enjoyable for what it was.
A couple of botches from Tamina, but that's kind of expected these days.
I was going to say, she can't sell a Hurricanrana for shit.
She can't wrestle. She just can't. I don't get, she's literally there because of Snooker. That's
it. Pretty much.
That's the only reason she's there. I get, when they came out as well, I forgot they were the tag champs. I totally forgot they were the tag champs.
I forget, but it's just kind of become an afterthought for me. It's just one of them.
The rest of the match was good. I like the fact they've all buried Alexa under the ladders.
Yeah, I was expecting it to pop back up.
Yeah, so did I. And try and go for the case while they were up there.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
None of that. I did think a lot of the time Nikki took most of the bumps.
She took a few. Yeah, she did. She took quite a few power bombs and stiff ones onto the tables. Ladders, sorry.
I don't want to be unfair to it and say it was generic, but again, I did really enjoy it, but I don't think it class as the best women's Money in the Bank ladder match you've seen.
No, but it was still fun. But there was nothing. I mean, there was some memorable parts, but it's nothing I hadn't necessarily seen already.
Yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah. However, I did quite like the ending.
Yeah, in all the chaos.
That was something that's not been done before. That one I will say that's not been done before, where they're all there trying to grab it, they're trying to fight and everything, and they're so preoccupied trying to beat each other off the ladder that Nikki just runs up and takes it.
Yeah.
So Nikki's your Money in the Bank winner. And I'll be honest,
I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I. The reason I went for Zelina was down to business, down to the politics, because of what happened when she was kicked out and everything. She left because of this whole thing with her owning the rights to her Twitch channel and stuff. As soon as she came back, I was like, right, there's a reason. So there's no way that she's not coming back just for a big payout. That as soon as she was entered into the Money in the Bank, I was like, this is it. This is what she says. I want the case. I want the championship, and this is what we do. By the looks of it, it seems like she's just come back for a big payout.
Yeah, because since she's been back, it's kind of been
she
a
lost
losing
to Liv
streak.
Morgan on the first night.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a losing streak. So I thought she needs to do something to be like, told you I was an afterthought. I win when it matters. Yeah, so don't overlook me. Yes, I lose every now and then, but I win when it matters. And they didn't put. I thought that was the way they were going to go, and they didn't pull the trigger with that. But when Nikki won, I was shocked, but I was just kind of okay.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm interested in this because it's not something I've thought about. So there's plenty of possibilities, and she deserves it.
Yeah, because that was my thing. I was like, I love Nikki to bits. Mm-hmm. I think she deserves it. I think she's a great worker.
She works.
But the gimmick's not working for me.
Yeah, the gimmick. I'm not a massive fan of the gimmick, but I'll put it aside for the moment because I want to see what she does.
In a way, I'm more okay with the fact that this was her idea, because if it was Vince going to be it's pretty much her being the Hurricane.
Well, yeah,
or Mighty Molly.
Yeah, essentially that's what I thought. I mean. We all look at it and think that's a Vince idea, but apparently the truth is she even put it on her Twitter. I think that she said it's me.
Yeah, if it was his idea, I would have been thinking, "Oh, you do this, and I'll give you money in the bank," almost a bribery thing. But again, it's one of those things that she's putting a lot of effort into. She's trying to make it work. It might work. I mean, when the New Day first started, everyone was like, "What's this crap?"
Yeah, we hated it, and now it's one of the best things on TV.
Well, recently on the network, they did the 50 greatest tag teams ever, and they won it. And I thought, I can't really argue with that.
No.
They're a great tag team. So, yeah, Nikki won. It's really still bothering me that fuck the 8th woman was. What I did think, and again, this is kind of like my own personal fan. Naomi, thank you. Because, again, when she came out, I thought...
She got a pop.
She did.
She got a big pop.
She's a great... I know I've always said, like, great athlete. I think she's great at what she does, but just not my bag.
I still like her.
Yeah, but when she came out, I thought, shit, she could be the dark horse here. I thought one of those that isn't exactly overlooked, but if she won, people would have been like, yeah, I can buy that.
Yeah.
Where with Nikki, it's not that they weren't buying it, it was more like, oh, cool, I didn't think they'd go this way. And it was a positive shock.
Yes.
Most of the times we look, when, oh, guess what, Goldberg beat Bray clean, those kind of shocks, it's kind of, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But this was a pleasant surprise.
I did think as well, like, because luckily when Alexa, after the whole trying to bring the case down with the powers thing, she scratched out, I was like, okay, I'll go with the ladders. I thought, if at one point she's at the top, and then the lights start going, it was like, why not pull the trigger now when you grab that?
Man.
And when the lights come back on, the Fiend's staring across at her from the ladder, you'd be like, holy shit, I don't know if Alexa would be like just showing the daggers back or almost a little bit startled to see him again. And if he just went mandible claw, lights out, and then the lights were back on and they're both gone for the ladder, you just continue the match, but everyone was like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, I mean, maybe they'll pull I really hope they pull the trigger on that, because I really want that storyline to be a battle of wills. So Alexa eventually goes back to her old character.
Yeah, hopefully at some point.
But who knows?
Yeah, good opener.
But yeah,
nice surprise.
Yeah, so Nikki wins. She's Miss Money in the Bank. Following match was the Raw Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew with what way this was going, didn't we?
Yeah, but a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, don't get me wrong, we knew what this was. It was down to AJ getting worked over, hot tag to Omos, he'll do a lot of big moves, game over. And that is pretty much the how it has
There was
worked.
more back and forth.
But it was everything in between that I really, really enjoyed. It was just a good, solid and serviceable wrestling match. The Viking Raiders shined as they always do with their quick movements, considering how big they are. AJ sold amazingly. They sold really well for Omos. They played a really nice story of wrestling. They just, it was nothing like a massive thing of note. It was just everybody doing their job the way they're supposed to do it, doing all the moves they're supposed to do, telling the story they're supposed to tell. And at the end of the day, they're still champs, and I expected that anyway. But the Viking Raiders do not look weak coming out of this. But they busted their ass in that match and proved they deserve to be in this division.
It was more the false finishes and
it was these two. I mean, there was about 4 or 5, I think, but I think there was 2.
When Omos had his foot
how is that not the finish?
When Omos had his foot on his chest,
I thought that was it.
I thought, yeah, that's it. And as the count's happening, I'm thinking, I get it. I suppose it's okay, but I really wish this wouldn't happen to Viking Raiders. And he kicked out. I was just like, okay, there's still a bit of fight there. And I think there was the following false finish after that, where I was just thinking, holy shit, they're really going balls to the walls with this.
Yeah.
Now, they could have easily done the generic thing of AJ just say to Omos, I've got this, watch what I do, and the whole match is kind of AJ working over the Viking Raiders, but they get the momentum back, and then every time I went for the hot tag, pull back, and eventually when Omos comes in, cleans house. Similar to what happened at Mania. Because
you've got to protect him, because by the looks of it, he doesn't seem like he's a good wrestler. He's just a big, muscly guy. He's a Vince guy where they've put him in the right position by protecting him in this tag team with AJ. It's a perfect position.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm worried what's going to happen once he's on his own.
I mean, apparently he did have a one-on-one match with Eric or one of the Viking Raiders.
It was a squash more than anything.
Yeah.
It really wasn't much.
It's one of them where I'm thinking, because he's one of, with Braun, he almost demanded your attention. He had that it factor of like, I'm a monster, I'm going to let you know. Well, almost is a little bit more
stoic.
Yeah. So it's almost like, again, can't speak for the fans, but I'll try to right now. It's more, okay, we're paying attention to what you're doing, but I wouldn't exactly say we're interested.
Yeah.
So
it's like at the moment, it's like, right, well, we know what it is at the moment. This is a pet project for Vince. This is a big dude doing big stuff, and it's nothing I haven't really seen before.
Yeah, it's one of them where we think we know where this is going, since, like AJ and Omos will lose the belts, they'll break up because Omos will blame AJ, that kind of stuff. But maybe we're wrong. We want to see where you're going to go with this.
Yeah.
Now, I recently watched the Kevin Nash Broken Skull thing, and he says, you mentioned he goes to the Performance Centre and he's working with Omos a lot. And Austin went, is he money? And Nash went, oh yeah. And I thought, right. On one side, I could look at it and go, look, Nash accomplished a lot in his career, but I never really saw him as a great wrestler.
The guy.
Yeah, he was never awesome.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's like, he might be doing what Taker did early on. Like, Taker always said, like, I was fast, and I could be very agile and show off what I can do. But my character meant I had to be slow, methodical. So every now and then when I did pull something out that really fast, you're like, whoa. I wonder if Omos has got something in his back pocket where you go like, where the fuck did that come from?
I hope so, because that would definitely spice it up when it comes to him being on his own.
One of my favourite spots of the match, quite early on, he threw AJ over the top rope and he landed perfectly in the Hurricanrana. I was like, oh, fucking, just amazing, nailed it. So yeah, like you say, it did the smart thing of Viking Raiders lost, but they did not look bad in defeat.
Nope.
It meant like, okay, you got us tonight, but it's made the fans believe like maybe another night you've got this.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
the
best way to book wrestling.
Absolutely, it's the best way you should leave.
And also, it's one of them. Well, was the next match the WWE Championship? It was.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. But I was going to say the Raw Tag match and possibly the women's match, which we'll go into later.
Oh, no, wasn't it the women's Raw?
No, I think it was WWE Championship, women's Raw, men's Money in the Bank, Universal. I think that's the way it went.
Okay.
Because I think they don't want to diminish the
yeah, it was WWE. Yeah,
so yeah, I don't know which one I'd class, but WWE always seem to, maybe not purposely, but there's always a piss break match.
Yes.
And the Raw tag titles, it's well known that was meant to be Bayley, Bianca for the SmackDown Women's and I Quit, but unfortunately Bayley's injured. She's out for 9 months.
It is what it is. It's not her fault.
They did the SmackDown title match up with Carmella on SmackDown and changed it to the Raw tag title. So it was almost like last minute throw in. And then the women's title match, it was more like, well, we've seen this a lot of times already.
Yeah.
So one of them was going to end up being the piss break match. However, both of them delivered.
Yes.
Which I say, we'll get both into the women's later on. But next was Lashley versus Kofi.
Lashley versus Kofi, which I've been really enjoying. Again, I'm still enjoying Bobby as champion. We're finally getting the Bobby we all want. Even down to, I mean, I know he lost to Xavier in a roll-up on Raw about a week or two ago. But it worked with the story, and I like the fact that he's going to MVP now. So these 3-piece suits, these women, this champagne, this VIP stuff, I don't want any of it. I just want to fucking kill someone. That's essentially what he's saying. And I really liked how that fed into this whole storyline with Kofi, with Xavier, when they did the Cell thing on Raw and everything. The building up of this. This could potentially, when it comes to the draft, Big E could potentially get involved here, and I think that's possibly where they're going with it. But having said that, a lot of people, review-wise, have been dumping on this match, saying that it was not good and it was another squash match to Kofi. Now, granted, Bobby got a lot of offense more than Kofi did. Kofi barely got anything done. However, it's what I expected and it's what I wanted. Nothing against Kofi, because I love Kofi, but going into SummerSlam, obviously it's now confirmed that he's going against Goldberg, but originally it's going to be Lesnar. Yeah. Either one of those, you need to have incredible. Yes. And we've been having incredible like build to the point where he's beaten Drew. He's done all these other things and beating people and being aggressive and being this monster, this almighty character that they're building him to be. Yeah. So having him absolutely destroy Kofi here is exactly what I wanted, because he came to the end of it and I go, that's it, that's dominance. That's dominance going into SummerSlam, and I understand that.
It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was what I wanted, but it was what I expected, because I agree it was what was needed. Because I did think on one side, like, okay, I'm glad Kofi's still in that title picture. And I know what those people shitting on it are going to say is like, yeah, he's back in the title picture, but they're still like shitting on him and stuff. Look, Kofi I don't want to say Kofi knows his place, because
he knows the score. Yeah, he knows what he is.
I agree. What happened with him and Lesnar for the title, I hated that.
Yeah, despicable.
Either the Lesnar-Kofi match should have gone down the same way the Lashley one did, or Kofi should have made you believe a little bit like he could do it. And I thought going in, maybe that will be what's going on in this match of Lashley will show his strength and dominance, maybe now and then Kofi will show his resilience, make you think maybe he can, and then the last second Lashley slapped him down. But for the purpose of not only the story of the match, the storyline before it, and the story going ahead with Goldberg at SummerSlam, it was the perfect thing to do. Because Lashley, like you say, it was the whole MVP, let's celebrate. And at first Lashley's like, I should celebrate, I'm the man. And then Kofi's character, again, they work the story around the characters they are. Of I'm a positive man, you are too, but you're not me, which means I think you're going soft. And for Lashley to get pissed off, lose to Xavier and think, God, he's right, and then square it to MVP and say, this is bullshit. I'm because this could easily feed into the Goldberg story, because obviously there's a few weeks till SummerSlam, so we're going to hear Goldberg on the mic at one point. If Goldberg can easily go I saw you, I've been watching you for months as champion, but I just thought, you're not worth my time in a minute. It wasn't until I saw you at Money in the Bank I thought, that's the Lashley I want to face.
I hope they do something like that, because otherwise it's so paper thin why Goldberg's back. Yeah. Again, he just pops back because it's SummerSlam, I'm next. Oh, are you? Okay, then I don't need a reason then, do I? Yeah. But all you need is something what you've just said, of just saying, oh, he's always been there in the peripheral. Yeah. He's always been watching and learning and seeing what it is and whether it's worth the time.
Just thinking, you're a joke, now I don't think you're a joke.
And then you go, there, that's the Bobby I want to face.
Because despite the fact that
that's 2 minutes on a promo, max, where you can get me invested on why Goldberg's back and why he's in that championship match.
This is where promos can be smart, because on subject matter, basically Goldberg saying, I'm back because I want to kick your ass. But with the right wording, that gets Lashley over of like, now the fact that you're worth Goldberg's time.
You've caught his attention.
It means you're up to his standard, you're up to Hall of Fame standard, you're doing something right, you're a credible WWE champion, you're a credible threat.
Yeah, not just we need Goldberg for a big match at SummerSlam, which is exactly what it is.
If Kofi had won the championship, those same critics would have been like, that's not believable, the story didn't match, what the fuck are they doing? It needed to happen, and yes, the match wasn't exactly... It wasn't a wrestling clinic by no standards, but I watched it for what it was. Like, Lashley has destroyed Kofi Kingston, and it needed to happen.
Yes.
And I was fine with it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say whether I enjoyed it or not. I suppose I didn't enjoy it as
it was
a wrestling match.
It was a means to an end, and it was a means to an end that we wanted.
Yeah.
And it needed to happen.
It's like with any drama and stuff, you know, you can have these amazing action scenes. You go, oh, that was awesome. But every now and then you need the scenes in between to build it up. And yes, I know people will be like, well, the scenes in between are the promos and stuff, the actions, the wrestling. It's like, every now and then, a wrestling match can be a scene to another thing, to a bigger fight, which is exactly what they're doing. So, they'd be like, they could have done it on Raw, they could have done it... No, it needed to be on a pay-per-view, needed to be in front of a crowd, because it showed the crowd go...
Gets the energy.
Whoa, okay, Lashley's pissed off, he's ready to fire, and now they went into Raw going, okay, Goldberg's here, but I think Lashley's ready for him because of what
I don't want to look at it and
before.
go. I don't want to look at it and go, "Oh, Goldberg's taking this."
I would love. I mean,
I don't want Goldberg to take it because Lashley's doing so well, and given what's been going on with Kofi and Xavier, and potentially what might go on with Big E because he's always on the peripheral, and with the draft that could happen, and we'll get into certain things later. There's your long-term story. And
this was the first time in a while most of the show gave us very smart storytelling. Yeah. And for not just the stories that were happening, but stories to come. They've put a lot of eggs in baskets of things to come, which have made some fans go, what's going on here? I want to see what happens next. So, yeah, with... the last match with Goldberg was Drew. And... It was what it was, a spot fest, but it was very back and forth.
Oh, it was kind of... I enjoyed it.
I would love for, as a poetic... Not maybe not poetic justice, but just a poetic moment. What if Lashley crushes Goldberg in 90 seconds, the same way he did to Brock Lesnar? Just Goldberg spears him, Lashley rolls straight back out, spears Goldberg, another spear to Goldberg, does exactly what he did to Kofi at Money in the Bank. Dominator, over. You're there like... Lashley's the man.
And I'm kind of hoping that Goldberg does this, what he did for Drew.
Yeah,
I'm hoping he does. We've always made no bones about it. He's not a wrestler. He's a spot man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that is just the case. Riddle's right. He's not a wrestler. He really isn't. But if he's there, he's that big of a deal. He's money. He's marquee. His name is all you need. Mm-hmm. Then use that to your advantage. You don't need to be winning titles. You don't need you need to be putting over the next guy. And if we're going to make Lashley a forever guy that's going to be in the main event kind of area, or always around that area, this is the kind of way you do it. What do you lose, Goldberg, from getting pinned by the WWE champion who is on the tear of his life?
Yeah, I mean,
you lose nothing.
By all means, another way you could put the match is, that I need to show that Lashley isn't stupid. So maybe not do what Kevin Owens did and roll straight out of the ring or anything like that, but be on guard, know what's coming. So don't let you give him a chance to get the spear. To the point that they might even lock up. Get Goldberg over a bit, and Goldberg throws Lashley to the ground. He's like, he's a strong bastard. You could go, Goldberg spears, and you think, oh, here we go again. Like maybe 3 or 4 spears in a row. Goes to put Lashley up for the jackhammer, and Lashley... he can't get him up. He just completely blocks it with his strength. Lashley lifts Goldberg up for the jackhammer. You're like, what the fuck? Jackhammer's in. Spear, Dominator, good night. I would be completely fine with that because it's put Lashley in that spot of like, I'm not just a throwaway champion.
Plus, it feeds perfectly into the kind of character that he's become in the recent weeks, that he's not taking anything for granted. He's thinking about what he wants to be and how he wants to be presented and how he wants to go about being a wrestler. and he's not being over arrogant. He's not getting to that point where he's not sitting there doing what MVP wants him to do by being, champagne and smiles, and I'm the champ, you can't touch me. He's not doing it. He goes, I don't care about that. I want to hurt people. And I like that, because back when Lesnar got beat so quickly by Goldberg, Lesnar was at that point where he's so arrogant because he's at the top of the pile. And
there's no one to stop me.
I'm arrogant, and that was his downfall, nice and easy. But with Bobby, that is not the case.
He is that close to where, I think for what it's worth, both Roman and Lashley are doing great jobs as champions. But he's that close to where Reigns is at the minute, of like, I genuinely look at Reigns and think, who the hell is going to uncrown him or take the belt off him? And if Lashley does that to Goldberg, it is that whole, who the fuck is going to beat him?
Yeah.
And there's your future investment for all pay-per-views to come.
100%.
You'll want to see who's going to be the guy to dethrone these guys.
Yeah.
So, Lashley wins championship. It was, again, match was what it was.
Next was the Raw.
Now, going into this,
I
know. I was going in
I've seen this a million times. This better be the last one, although they did go again on Raw.
Yeah.
But there was something else that happened after that.
But I was going into this cold, and by the end of it, I was into it.
It was good. It was awesome. It was the best match they put on together. 100%. Crowd again definitely helped.
Yeah.
The hype and everything. They're working around the leg kind of situation. That was all really great. But they did everything they need to do. They're both on top form for the entirety of the match. Didn't feel boring at any point.
No.
It just worked. Those two worked very, very well together. And the end was exactly what I expected. My heart wanted Rhea to win.
Yeah.
But we knew what was going to happen. SummerSlam's next. Vince wants a big marquee match. What does he do? He wants to put Charlotte in that, so Charlotte wins the title. However, obviously,
things happen.
Certain things happen in Raw, which we'll get to at the end of this.
I mean, what happened in Raw was okay, but very transparent, to which I'll get to later. But it was one of them where, when I look back at it, obviously, Rhea and Charlotte's first match was WrestleMania 36 for the NXT Women's Championship. Fantastic match. I thought potentially match of the weekend at that point. And then, technically, the following match, it was a triple threat because Asuka was in there, so it's like, okay, we've kind of seen this, we kind of haven't. You've thrown Asuka in the mix. Then they go, well, Hell in a Cell is the proper rematch. And at that time, it's kind of like, more so, is Charlotte still getting the title picture? Okay, let's see what happens. And personally, not just because of the shit ending at Hell in a Cell, but I just thought that it was a letdown, that match.
Yeah.
So I was going in with it to Money in the Bank with the same thing. Like, we've seen this so many times now. It's just going to be the same old shit. Now, it started off almost the same old shit, but then Rhea was doing this smart thing of showing that she learned Charlotte's tricks.
Yeah, but it's very quickly, it went up a gear.
She was showing, not only do I know what you're going to do next so I can avoid it or defend myself, but throwing some of her own moves back at her, to which Charlotte then had to start changing the game, which I think started off when she was like, well, you didn't see this coming, I'm going to throw in a Boston Crab, which she doesn't really do. Her submission's the figure 4, figure 8, that's her go-to. So the momentum started building up, and I remember watching it thinking, as a pay-per-view as a whole, I was thinking, going in like, I might rank it as 7 at a minute. Then as the match started going up, it's like, if this keeps up, the ranking of that's going to go up. I was watching Rhea thinking, you're doing okay, but you're still green. I think that's the problem. They throw the belt on you a little bit, not prematurely, but it was still quite early on in her career.
Yeah.
But this is why you're with Charlotte, I understand that, but you're still green. By the end of it, I was thinking, she is learning quick. Mm-hmm. This has become an awesome match. The crowd is invested, which adds to my investment. But I'm, again, not taking anything away from Charlotte or Rhea. They help with my investment. And by the ending bell, I was just like, that was a match and a fucking half.
Yeah.
I did like the fact they fucked up the sense where Charlotte flipped off the crowd.
Yeah. Because the first thing I said when she did that, I went, Sarah, she flipped off the crowd.
Yeah, black screen. And then comes back, she's still doing it.
I haven't seen anyone flip off the crowd in ages. I was like, oh, that's some instant heel heat. Flip the crowd off.
Because they were chanting for Becky. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my god, if Becky comes out now.
I thought she might at the end. So Charlotte obviously won. She became the champion.
Yeah. And for the most part, I was actually okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Because it was one of the, I don't want to say the only one, because obviously the match at WrestleMania 32 the women tore the house down, so Charlotte deserved that victory. But of all the title reigns that have been thrown at Charlotte, I was like, that's one you've earned right there. With that match.
Because the match was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, it was awesome. It was good. And those guys really won me around from a storyline that beforehand I didn't give a shit about.
At one point, I thought after all the replays and stuff, she's holding the belt. I've seen her like a hands like gesturing, and I thought she was gesturing to Rhea in the corner for the fans to give her a standing ovation. And I thought this would be awesome if that happens, of a show of respect. Turns out she was asking someone to bring the second rope down. Which is fantastic. You know, it still works for her character. Like, oh, you smug bitch. But even if it was an accident, I was like, oh, she's showing respect to Rhea? No, she's being the stuck-up bitch that she is. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, I thought...
Awesome.
Yeah, that's... For this story, at least, not including WrestleMania 36, for this story, that was the best match they've had so far.
Yeah.
And in a way, I thought it was also time for Rhea to drop the belt. It was one of them where it was a nice-ish moment.
She needs to get some fire up her ass, and not having the championship doesn't really do that.
Yeah, so, yeah, and with Charlotte, it's despite it's always being thrown on Charlotte, she does the job well.
Yeah,
so that's that. But I've got to say, we can go into Raw now, I suppose, because it doesn't really spoil anything for the rest of the pay-per-view.
Because the last two are SmackDown matches.
Yeah.
So
Money in the Bank, and then...
So, yeah, let's just very, very quickly just go over the fact that Nikki Cross cashed in and won the Raw Women's Championship off Charlotte, which was so weird. Like, I didn't expect that to happen at all.
Yeah, again, that was the thing of both sides of the coin I'm trying to look at. Of like, I'm happy for Nikki because I love Nikki, and it's a shock moment for Raw, and it's a big pop, and why not? But on the same side, it's like, we're already wasting one case like that.
Yeah.
Again.
And also the fact that Charlotte lost to a crossbody, and the fact that I thought the reason they put it on Charlotte is so she's in a big SummerSlam match. She's going to be going against Nikki for the championship at SummerSlam.
I think it'll be triple threat.
Maybe triple threat.
Fine. I think Rhea and Charlotte will cost each other.
Maybe a four-way with Becky. It might be.
Yeah.
Which I'm all fine with. It just seemed a bit weird that you give the title to Charlotte to have her taken off it the 24 hours later, because I thought you'd give her the title to make sure she's guaranteed in that SummerSlam match. If she was going to get cashed in on anyway and that kind of stuff, she could easily weasel her way into that match anyway. If Rhea got cashed in,
I think you're probably right with Charlotte versus Nikki at SummerSlam. And no offense to Nikki, because I do like her a lot, but to me that on a match card does not scream box office right now.
Only because of the way they've been booking her, and only because of the way that they don't.
Yeah, in the next 5 weeks.
They haven't put her enough on a pedestal.
Yeah, we've got 5 weeks for Charlotte to run her mouth and Nikki to run it back of like, yeah, you underestimate me. They did a Money in the Bank. You didn't see that coming on Raw. You underestimate me. See what happens. I mean,
maybe that's a storyline they run forward with if she pins her, even if it's a roll-up. I'm not a massive fan of roll-ups, but if she rolls her up at SummerSlam, something like that, and again, just like, you're not, I've got your number.
Yeah, even if she references everything that's happened to her in her career, because she's already, apparently, I was listening to some of the commentary, and they were going, she knows she hasn't got superpowers, and she's there like, when you've got a cape and a mask and you feel like a hero, it's another surge of energy. I was like,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I feel great in myself, but if I dress up as Thor from Endgame, I'm going to feel more awesome. Of course I am.
I think this is why Vince gets it, in a way of like, who in their right mind would not want to be a superhero?
Yeah.
So it's one of her, she's putting that out there as a wrestling
Which is fine.
So if she goes like, yeah, I know I don't have powers, I know I don't have this, but despite all that, I'm standing here as champion now. And also, I know where I've come from. I know who I used to be. I don't know how insane I used to be. So don't think I can't go to those dark places again to kick your ass at SummerSlam. I'll be like, there it is. Yeah, there's my investment. But yeah, I think it might be Nikki Charlotte, because rumour has it might be Rhea Becky at SummerSlam.
Okay. I mean, again,
that's box office.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and then I think in September is Extreme Rules. That's where you could have the Fatal 4-Way.
Yep.
I
mean, we're not going to mention much else on Raw, but everything else was kind of standard. Obviously, Goldberg came out and everything. We knew that was going to happen. Cena came out and did stuff that was great. I enjoyed that. Keith Lee returned and lost to Bobby Lashley, which I'm not a massive fan of. But the one thing we are going to talk about, we'll get it out of the way quite quickly. Karrion Kross coming in with no bells and whistles, no Scarlet, shit music, no pomp and circumstance whatsoever. and loses in 2 minutes to Jeff Hardy, the current NXT champion, Jeff Hardy, although he might be a legend and a veteran, and we all love Jeff, has not been featured on wrestling recently, and also has not been a credible threat recently either.
Yeah.
This to me screams Vince going, I don't give a fuck about NXT at all. If I'm willing to do this to the current NXT champion, what makes you think I give a shit about the rest of you? When you come here, you're mine.
I mean, there's rumours that Karrion's getting called up.
Why would you want to after that?
Yeah.
Why would you want to? I'd be like Tommaso Ciampa. I'm not leaving NXT.
Yeah.
If you force me to call up, I'll leave.
I think Johnny's
doing
the same thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Cole says the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want any of them going up.
Because that to me, that shows the magic of NXT, of that they can every now and then repackage the same people to fight against each other. Yeah, and it still works because they always add a different element to the character, a different story, a different build-up, something that the main roster can't do perfectly nowadays.
No, kind of we're going to piss up in a brewery.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I get this is the re-push for Jeff, but anybody but Karrion.
Yeah, anybody. Like, he's the most over thing in NXT since... Oh, Christ, I don't even know.
Probably Undisputed Era.
Maybe, yeah. He's like one of the most over things. The gimmick is awesome. The characterization is awesome. He might not be the best wrestler in the world, but he works to his advantage of what he's good at. Scarlett's awesome as a character as well, feeding off that energy. He's aggressive. He works as a champion. Everything about it screams money. And then Vince just looks at it and goes, nah.
Again, the only... it was a roll-up that got it.
Yeah, with his feet on the ropes.
Okay, right. Oh, Jeff's feet on the ropes.
Yep.
See, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Because that's suggesting Jeff's character might be changing.
No, they're just going to say, oh, he's a sneaky guy. Oh, he's a face. He's been dirty. He knows the game better than Karrion.
If it continues, it could be a cheat. But on the same side, it's like, does Karrion... Again, I'm wishful thinking, but if Karrion... It wouldn't surprise me if Jeff's eyeing up retirement. I think it's around time for Jeff now. So if Karrion starts attacking him ruthlessly, so that was a mistake, fuck you, how dare you, and just starts laying him out to the point he goes, right, you, me, SummerSlam, if I win, you're gone. And if Jeff loses, I think it's a good time to do it. And Matt, I know for a fact, Matt has been pushing big for one more match with Jeff in AEW.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, one more.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose we better carry on with the podcast.
Yeah. Before we rant even more.
But yeah, we are not happy with what they've done to our boy.
No,
we're not at all.
We do not approve.
Do not approve.
Men's Money in the Bank.
Holy
shit!
This, I mean, apparently, like Simon Miller, the guy that's on What Culture, he said that apparently he found out from a few like fans and some other people that there's a couple of people in the comments and that were before the match, before the pay-per-view, were going, oh, the lineup for the men's Money in the Bank doesn't look that great this year. I was like, are you mental? Look at that lineup. That is one of the best lineups I've ever seen.
The only one that I thought maybe doesn't belong there because he's already at main event level was Drew.
But I get why he was there. I get why he was there. This goes down as one of the best Money in the Bank ladder matches I have ever watched. It had everything that it needed to have in it, and there was no fat on it at all. It was all trimmed, and everybody did everything brilliantly.
Again, this is another one that started skyrocketing my ratings of the show. But I remember when the match finished, I thought, even though I didn't actually end up doing it because I was busy with other stuff, but I thought, right, I'm going to watch the main event, and then I'm going to rewind and watch that again. And I rarely do that on the dot, but I thought that was so damn good. Just everything about even at the start when it just showed Riddle and Shinsuke fucking around with I forget the guitar guy. Yeah. It was like a little bit cringy, but I thought this is part of the character. What sold it was Kevin at the end, who was just looking like
he was like that, and then you hear his music,
and then the whole place just
erupted, and he was fucking pumped. I mean, everybody was pumped really, and just everybody got their massive pops. Every single one of them got their big pops that they deserved. I like the fact that it was the a couple of minutes in, it was down to Biggie and Drew, and they're just throwing people out the ring, and then they got into a fight together.
When they squared off, I thought, this is interesting.
Yeah,
this is
I
something I really thought. Because another one I thought was, they didn't do the square off, but I thought, this is cool, was Riddle and Shinsuke actually going for it, because they've got all that
the kind of strong style.
They had that routine of all the kicks and blocks and stuff. This is awesome. And then they obviously stagger each other with the kicks, and a double claymore comes and wipes them both
Oh
out.
yeah.
Drew, bit of a mixed reaction coming out.
Yeah, he did get them. He did get them. He was the only one that. Yeah, you're right. He was the only one that actually got a mixed reaction pop wise. And I think maybe it's not because of him. It's because of the fact that he's been put in a position where he's not in the main event picture at the moment where we wanted him.
I don't know. I think it's because we're kind of referencing. Well, we'll jump to this part of the match and reference what happened on Raw. Because of the story that was going into Money in the Bank, Drew was about halfway through the match. Looks like Drew might do it, and Jinder and his cronies come out
and drag him away.
Hit the shit out of him with the chair and drag him away. Cost Drew the Money in the Bank, and because of the stipulation with Lashley, it means now while Lashley's champion and he's got no Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank contract.
Is that how you get laid?
Yeah.
I've got a Money in the Bank contract.
That's called a prostitute. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank contract. There is zero chance of him getting another top shot while she's on the belt. So I got the story, but as a fan, I kind of see Jinder versus Drew coming at SummerSlam, and I'm sorry, Jinder, I just don't care about it.
No,
I don't. So it's one of them where whatever. And I think the good thing about what happened on Raw, obviously Drew got his revenge, swinging a steel chair out. I saw more of what I think the fans wanted, which was the Scottish psychopath. Recently, he was more the Scottish warrior, they were calling him, where he was very smiley, and fans and everyone was like, no, we want you to be the ruthless
need
bastard.
a bit more of a balance between the both, really.
Yeah,
you still need to be face, but you need to be more aggressive.
Yeah, you need, but don't blow smoke up our asses just for the sake of it. You need to be like, yes, I love you guys, but when it comes down to me in this ring, I'm not pandering with my 1, 2, 3 or anything. I'm here to kick people's heads off.
Yeah. I mean, everybody did spot a Rooney. I mean, Kev threw the ladder at some point. He has so many spots. I mean, I think he hit a triple stunner on people at some point, which is again fun. Seth and Morrison teaming up for a good 5 or 6 minutes.
The drips.
The drips, yeah. I mean, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I didn't see that tag team kind of thing happening.
He did a crazy spot after that, like over the top corkscrew splash or something. Not saying Seth didn't do anything good or bad here, but I don't remember a lot of Seth. It was a lot of him kind of working off somebody else.
I don't remember anything that Seth did big wise other than teaming with Morrison for that time.
Well, Kevin got obviously what laid him out was the powerbomb over the top rope through the ladder.
Ricochet did an awesome flip as well.
I was about to get to Ricochet. The other thing with Kevin was the ladder again on its side and.
Oh yes, he did do that. Yeah,
and you're just like, how many times?
How many more times are you going to do this?
With Ricochet, I knew he was the man, but because of the way that he's been booked recently, I sometimes forget. But he just shows he is the man. Yeah. I love Ricochet to the point I love the fact that Riddle even sold it after he was springboard.
He's in shock.
The height and the angle he was at, and he just made it look so sleek. Yeah. But it was just like, fucking damn! And him doing an RKO party.
Yes, he did triple RKOs and stuff. Yeah. I was like, yes, mate, go for it.
When I will admit, when Ricochet did that bounce off the rope and the flip, I just went, fuck yeah! In my seat. I was like, this is it. So, yeah, it was...
I mean, Big E, he did a lot of big move kind of stuff.
I always get nervous when he does that spear through the
the spear. Every time he does it, I think it's your neck. But just for God's sake, be careful.
Yeah.
So, but outside of that, it was just your standard kind of Big E, big stuff. There was nothing really big at that point.
Yeah.
Up until the end.
Yeah.
We got a load more spots from other people and everything. Everybody did their part absolutely brilliantly. And it was down to Seth and Big E, and Big E did the biggest ending off the top of the ladder with Seth and took him out of the match. And then I thought that at this point, obviously he's at the bottom of the ladder. This is where someone else comes in. He'll fight him off and everything.
Yeah, I thought this might be where Seth.
We'll go from here. But no, he just as soon as he was done dropping Seth, he looked straight up and going straight back up, and up he went. And Mr. Big E is your Money in the Bank winner.
For about 20 seconds, he managed to stay in character, and then he broke down.
Yeah, he broke down. You can see it. He was just like pumped as hell, and then you just see the tears. I get that, man.
I mean, there was just flashing back a little bit to the start. I think early on, Morrison was on the ladder, and someone tried to shake him off, and he just kind of did a side flip off the top of the ladder and landed perfectly on his feet. And I've always thought Morrison's a great athlete, but damn. And kudos to him as well of just saying to the Miz, I've got this. But at the same time, it was like, What's Miz going to do in a wheelchair? Even though I think eventually it's going to be the whole, I'm not hurt, look, I'm not hurt. But apparently, I didn't see this, but allegedly on Raw a few weeks ago, they've got the whole slow motion entrance thing. As it was happening, Miz starts rolling down the ramp in slow motion. Start panicking.
Oh god,
I need to check that out.
Yeah, I need to find that.
Yeah, the match in what was it? Big E, Riddle, Shinsuke, Kevin, Seth, Drew, and Ricochet. And that's seven. Always one. There's always one in that. Kevin, Shinsuke, Riddle.
Hang on. Let's have a look. Here we go.
There we go. Right.
Okay, so we've got Seth, Shinsuke, Big E, Morrison, Ricochet, Riddle, Drew, Kevin.
Yeah. Everyone got their moment, whether it was high risk.
Everyone did their job perfectly.
I don't want to say violent, but like hard hitting or whatnot.
Yeah.
Just kind of everything you could want from a Money in the Bank ladder match. You got, including the winner.
Yeah, I mean the winner is just like. Finally, they're giving it to someone, and I think it's credible. They deserve it. It makes sense. It's potentially a long-term storyline, which we talked about with the Bobby stuff. If he gets moved over with the draft, that's it. That's your storyline. You fucked up my boys, both of them. Yeah. I reckon even at some point Bobby might end up going against Xavier because he did roll him up, so he's got a championship match there ready to go. So you continue that. Then when Big E gets involved, that's when you cash in. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work this, but. There was a lot of rumours going on for a while that they were on about turning one of the New Day heel on the others. Mm-hmm. They were going to do it apparently about a couple of years ago. Yeah. And then they didn't. They were also on about doing it about 3 or 4 months ago when Big E first got... however many months it was when Big E got split up from them. But again, they didn't because the time wasn't right. But there's rumours again that they're again being discussed. Now, I don't know how they would work it, but what if Big E managed to get himself into a WWE Championship match without actually cashing in? Or Xavier's in the WWE Championship match. Xavier wins, and then this is where Big E comes in and cashes in on his own mate.
Maybe. I mean, no offence to Xavier, but I've never really seen him as WWE Championship material.
Yes, but if it's just for that moment...
Maybe.
Xavier beats like Bobby. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's credible to beat Bobby. But what if it's like a cheeky... if they revert back to their kind of, New Day sometimes did look up the dirty tactics. And Kofi got involved to kind of do those little dirty tactics. We're all like really behind it, like pumped up. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this and this is how it's going to go. He wins the title and that's when Big E comes out and takes it off him. I don't know whether they'll do that, but either way... This is your storyline going forward. Putting Big E into this situation with the Money in the Bank briefcase, that is your storyline.
I had an interesting thought the other day. I think Survivor Series is still going to be built up as brand warfare, which means at the minute, as champions currently stand, it would be Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley, which maybe, and the way they're being both built, it is kind of like, these are like two trains just colliding. Like, if Big E cashes in, is it for both belts, or does he have to pick one? Because both champions are in the ring in one match.
That is a grey area.
Or is it like
cashing
in, and depending on which person you pin, depends on which belt?
I think it would probably be something like that. Wherever you pin is the belt you get.
I think you should capitalise on the heartbreak, because it's been a while since...
We've had something that big. Well, it's like the last time we had that was like the Shield breaking up. That was like a massive breakup. It needs to be that big.
I'm going to stray away from the New Day breakup thing for a minute. I'm just going to go, maybe not. But if... It's been a while since, for the men's Money in the Bank, someone's cashed in and lost. And usually it happens to the heel guys. For a face guy... to feel the heartbreak of that. So if at Survivor Series, Big E's got this, blah, 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 and then Roman Reigns just spear out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, and you're like, E.
I mean, it adds so much heat to Reigns.
A couple of months later, Big E wins the Royal Rumble. Goes to WrestleMania.
That's where I'll be fine with it.
It's like...
Don't get me wrong, I'll be annoyed that the Money in the Bank contract hasn't been cashed in.
But they can't win all the time.
No, I get that. But I'd be annoyed at that. But yes... that would be the thing that takes the sting out of it if he does win the Royal Rumble, because then that's your fairy tale story, the way they told it like they did with Kofi. It's like, he got so close and he's heartbreaking, he's gone downtrodden. Maybe he loses a couple of matches on TVs and a pay-per-view of that, and he's literally, when he goes into the Royal Rumble, he's going, this is it. This is my last-ditch effort. If I can't do this, I don't know how much longer I can stay wrestling, because I think it's like depression and the
It just shows that
the pressure is just too much. It's like, I don't think I can perform at the level I want to perform. All that kind of stuff. Really go home with it, like the real hard hit stuff. And then when he wins it, it's just going to be such.
The story will write itself as well. Because if it does happen at Survivor Series, and it is Roman that pins him. Roman again, presumably Roman's still champ going into Mania 38. Roman could just be like, I beat you once before.
Like,
You're a nobody.
Yeah, who do you think you are? And you step to me.
And to get that fire back to Big E, like, I'm going to prove to you I'm a somebody. And I'm going to do it when I whip your ass at WrestleMania.
The only fly in the ointment is the fact that it might be Reigns' Rocket Mania. But it's not solid yet, but that's the one they're going for.
In that case, have Big E cash in at Mania. And
Again?
then win.
Yeah.
And be like, okay. Or if you want to do the heel thing then, have Big E go cash in at Mania and one of the New Day costume it at WrestleMania.
Maybe then,
You're just
like, about them turning in on him.
What the fuck?
Them turning in on him.
Yeah. Especially if it's both of them.
Oh.
I mean, you'd be like, what the fuck just happened?
Then they have to go for a handicap match.
Because then Big E would be like, both of you said you both had your opportunities, it was my time. And Xavier would be like, I never had my opportunity. And Kofi would just be like, I lied. How dare you think you can be the person I could be? I wanted you to go for that shot thinking you would fail, knowing you would fail. And yet you think you can now be a bigger success than Kofi Kingston? Fuck you.
Yeah.
There's your story. But anyway.
The great thing about this is at the end of this, there is so much potential.
That's
what we like about it.
Every character in that match led to something that could happen next. Morrison, maybe, we'll see. But obviously, Drew's got his thing with Jinder. Ricochet's proved he belongs. Kevin's meant to be having a break. And with all the bumps he went through, I can understand why. Big E, obviously. And then the way Seth reacted.
Yep, saying he wants the title next, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I think... I'm not sure where Orton is at the minute. I don't know if he's got a slight injury or time
I
off.
think he's taking a bit of time off. Originally, he was going to take time off. And then he was like, well, I want to do something for me. And I want to work at Riddle.
I think Orton's coming back to face Riddle. I think Orton will be like, stop that bullshit. You pissed me off.
I would like them to win the tag championships first.
Or make it look like they were, then Orton turns.
Yeah. Or win the titles and then turn. You know what Dean did with Seth a few years ago? Win the titles and then when they're celebrating everything, and like, this is the point where Riddle's the happiest he's ever been. Yeah. He's tag champ with fucking Randy Orton. RKO.
Yeah.
And he throws the title on top and goes, what made you think I cared?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them where the obvious story if the turn happens is Orton to be like, you are not me, stop trying to be me, you're pathetic. Because that's kind of the person Orton is. But if they were tagged, I remember a few years ago, well, say a few, we're going back 20 years or so now. Dude Love and Austin were tag champions.
Yeah.
And that dynamic of this hippie dude and Austin just like, what the fuck? That's it.
Yeah.
There's the dynamic of Orton, this serious, cold, just, I'm here to wipe you out character, and then right behind him, bro! What's going on? And that's the gold.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I suppose we've gone off on tangents here. So, main event.
Yes, Universal Championship, Reigns versus Edge. Edge finally gets his one-on-one that he deserved. Mm-hmm. Again, a good, solid match.
Good, yeah.
The only thing I would say is that it was a bit of a slow burner at the start.
I was about to say
a few rest holds and that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, guys, come on, don't do this.
I did think that, but...
Just at the point I was thinking to myself, come on. And then they did.
I think it was, again, I was thinking the same thing, but trying to be like, okay, they go with the methodical approach and slow burner. And I think they kind of did it on purpose, not just because of every other match had a similar pace, so it's kind of like, let's do something different. More the whole, we want the fans to be like, we just want you to rip each other apart, come on.
Yeah.
And then...
And it's main event.
It was a pace that slowly but surely is like, here we go. It's a bit slow. They're testing each other out. There was the slap to Edge first and the slap to Roman. Like, okay, you're building it up. Then the pace started going to get a bit more with, he's got the better in there. The stiff shots, they were going for it. Yep. To the point you just settled in organically to what the match was. Yeah. To the point when things started to happen, like the Usos trying to get involved and the ref getting knocked down, the
Mysterio's pulling him out.
It was just one thing after another. Yeah, like, where's this going to go?
The big finish was, like I said, the last 5 minutes, they just threw everything at the wall the last 5 minutes. And it was great. Again, they did this steel pipe thing. Yeah. Not steel pipe, it's like the piece on the chair. That, again, I expected that to be in the story because they built it around that as well. Yeah. So, yeah, that made sense. Because I was worried they weren't going to do it. I was like, why would you not do that? And then when he got out, I was like, okay, good, yeah, that's what I want.
Seth
I want
from
that.
out of nowhere.
Seth getting involved as well, twice.
Yeah, well, that was the shocking thing. Once he kicked him in the head, I thought,
there's your match for SummerSlam.
did he guillotined him?
No, he had Reigns in a crossface.
Oh,
no, with the bar.
Yeah.
And then he kicked him in the back of the head.
But when Roman got up, he did another move, went to pin, and I thought that was it. Then there was the kick out. And it was like, shit. And then Edge hit the spear. You're like, no way! And then I think, was it the Seth distraction, or was it just a kick out by Roman? I think there was I think it was a bit of a pause for some
Seth
reason.
buggered off.
Yeah.
And then obviously Usos got dragged to the back by the Mysterios once they'd done their bit.
Yeah.
At the last moment, Seth came back again, jumped up onto the rope. Edge spotted him. He knocked him on his ass with a boot, and then he got speared by Roman.
Yeah, and then
but he lasted in the guillotine a while as well. He looked like he was going to fade, and he came out of that as well.
Yeah, because the thing what I maybe a minor thing for some people, but it spoke volumes to me is when Roman had the bar in his mouth. Both the expressions for both of them were perfect. And he began to fade, and then he's like, that Surly Reigns, no. But even with the ref down, he didn't tap. It was almost like the only time we've ever seen him tap was that little one with Daniel Bryan. I thought, I don't want to see that again.
No, he did it on SmackDown.
He did do it on SmackDown.
But it wasn't a match. It was just him.
So it was almost like, despite everything, despite how much pain he's in, and maybe even knowing the ref was down, he still did not want to give in to Edge. So then, obviously,
the ref got knocked down as well.
The ref was a bit of a cheat.
It was a bit of a botch, unfortunately, but they just sold it what it was.
But so afterwards, obviously,
Reigns
Roman's celebrating. Seth comes back out to square off with Roman. I don't know if they were trying to tease like a mini Shield reunion, Seth going, I want that.
I think by the way the wording that Seth was coming out of his mouth, I couldn't quite hear what he was saying, but by the looks of it, he's basically saying, I'm next. I'm next for that championship. I deserve it.
Edge
which is fine. Edge gets up, obviously. Beats him up. They brawl, they fuck off, and
Roman does his acknowledge me promo, and who comes out?
I
mean, I will say this: what a pop!
Big Match John. What a pop!
And
I was like, hey!
Yeah, so was I.
I knew it was happening. I didn't know it was going to happen that night. I thought maybe
it was the only spoiler I'd accidentally seen going.
So I hadn't seen anything. It's the first time in a while actually I hadn't seen absolutely nothing. So I didn't know he was going to be there, but obviously I knew the rumours that it was going to be him versus Reigns at SummerSlam. Look, well, he is going to make an appearance at some point.
Yeah.
But I was still pleasantly surprised just for him to come back out. I was like, oh, it's Big Match John. I haven't seen Big Match John with his new fade haircut.
Yeah, with his dab haircut. It didn't dawn on me until he was out there. Like, this is the first time since the Firefly Funhouse we've seen him. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So it was almost like, you know what? Yeah, welcome back.
Let's do this.
Yeah. And I thought, again, he didn't. The spoiler I'd seen is that he addressed the fans after the show. So I was like, there's no way they're going to finish the show and then he come out. It's going to be the big ending. So, no pun intended. So, and then I saw his promo on Raw.
Loved it.
Of like, I'm here because Roman Reigns is an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
loved it.
Okay.
One thing I will say for Cena, he knows how to carry a promo. He knows how to get people jacked up. He's fine.
He did the smart thing because I was kind of trying to call it of like, okay, the most obvious thing is that he wants to come back not only to get revenge because Roman beat him in the last match, but he wants that 17th World title reign. Then he said, I'm not here for that. So I'm there going, maybe it's just it's the whole, I've been WWE champion, I've been World Heavyweight champion, I've never been Universal champion. Just to turn around that, because Reigns is an asshole. Like, okay, he's changed the dynamic of the story already.
Yeah.
He just wants to whip his ass because Roman's a prick.
Yeah.
Fine with it.
Yep.
Absolutely fine with it. Now, at first I thought, why are you on Raw? Shouldn't you have waited this to SmackDown?
Yes.
But it was, for what it was the cheap ratings.
Essentially, he was doing what maybe they should have got him to do at the end of the pay-per-view, but he's doing it on Raw. Just again, it's just a pop and everything. First Raw back, everything with crowds, so I get it. But he essentially just went out there and go, I'm putting you on notice. I will see you on Friday.
Yeah, it was one of them where you, especially with the last 18 months you've been through a COVID era, you have to kind of ride the momentum, so you can't let it fade away. So it's like, strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, let's just give everybody the pops. Let's just have some fun and let's enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it could feed into what Roman's response is going to be on SmackDown. Like, I'm an asshole, am I? And then he can just turn around and be like, you're the one to run to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And couldn't be anything that my cousin.
Now I'm thinking about it, I think it was the right decision to do it on Raw. One, because the pop and everything, and that makes perfect sense, and I get that. But two, if he'd done the promo on the pay-per-view, now that I'm thinking of it, Reigns could have attacked him.
Yeah.
I don't think I want that.
No,
I don't think I need them hitting each other. Maybe one quick brawl on the go-home show of SmackDown before SummerSlam. Just enough to go, give me a taste. That's all I want. But I don't want them constantly interacting physically with each other. War of words, all over it. I'm looking forward to that. Reigns is hitting the best promos of his life because of his heel character. Cena's always great at promos. They can play off that with their feud they had a few years back. That all makes sense. I don't think they really need to touch each other until SummerSlam. But like I say, other than a quick brawl just on the go-home show.
I would like a throwback to the build-up to their first match, and almost a throwback to when Reigns refused to sign the contract before Payback, of seeing like, yeah, I'm down for SummerSlam, and blah, blah, blah. And I want Roman Reigns to say absolutely nothing in a kind of reversal of like, he does not want to acknowledge John. So John keeps blah, 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 digging it in for weeks. Why won't you fight me at SummerSlam? It's because you're a coward, because you're an asshole, blah, blah, blah. And for a while, it's Heyman cutting the promos, because we know Heyman can cut a promo to death. To the point it gets to the contract signing, maybe even a week before the show, before SummerSlam, where John, again, does what he does, turns it around and says, you're not speaking because you know you can't. That Heyman's the thing. And then Roman finally takes the mic and does what Cena did to him a few years back, and finally schools Cena on the promo. Fair enough, it'd have to be maybe not scripted promo, but enough for where, okay, as good as you are, Cena, just let Roman have this one for storyline purposes.
Yeah.
Just have Roman have the last word going into SummerSlam, and you'll just stood there like dumbstruck, like what the hell. And it could feed into the potential Mania thing if he goes, you ran to Hollywood, you should have stayed in Hollywood, and tell my dumbass cousin to stay there too, because neither of you are welcome.
Yeah,
and it's
nice and simple. That's sowing your seeds.
Yeah, and it started the storyline to The Rock going, how dare you, like a few months down the line, like, how dare you think you can talk to me? You speak about family, you speak about bloodline, you talk about me like that?
He could easily do that, and God, I hope they do. And then all Rock has to do is send one tweet out going, say what?
Yeah.
And then just put hashtag WWE SmackDown. That's all he has to do. You don't have to do anything from there. No interviews about it, no talking about it, no more tweets. And Reigns doesn't have to mention it again.
Yeah.
He'll just maybe, Heyman will just show him that, look at this tweet, and go, and then that's it. That's all you need. Yeah. That's all you need up until Royal Rumble time, to be honest.
Or just him tweeting like, oh, I'm acknowledging you now, motherfucker. Yeah, right. I've acknowledged something. So
WWE, you're not listening, but if you were, listen to us.
Yeah, because we know what we want.
We're fickle fans. Yeah. We want it now.
So, ratings.
This was solid, awesome, fun, entertaining. Crowds were back. Storylines were good. Matches that we weren't giving a shit about, we ended up giving a shit about. One of the best Money in the Bank matches I've ever seen. Shock winners, I would say, but both deserved.
Returns and all that.
Returns as well. Yeah, the Cena thing was all great. Unfortunately, Raw afterwards was pretty crap overall, to be honest. We're not talking about that. That doesn't count towards the points. But yeah, it was an awesome pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it. I think I would give it a 8.5 out of 10.
See, yeah,
I think because that was really good. I was entertained.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with 8.
Ooh,
I did. Well. See, now, at first I thought you were going to tease me because I thought we're looking at halfway through the show. I was like, I think it's going to be 7.5. He's going to go another half point. Then it went up to an 8. I was like, oh, that'd be all right. Then I was thinking, I could give it 8.5, but he's going to tease me a half point thing again. But the reason now,
I think this may have been the first time I've actually done a half because I was close to going for 9.
Yeah,
but it's like I don't know. There was just ever so slight thing missing going for 9.
Yeah,
so 8.5 is the best I can give.
Literally just missing the 8.5 point because the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was good, but definitely not one that is going to stand out in my memory down the line. And the tag title match was good. But it's, again, not exactly a match of the year candidate. So it was good.
But everything else was great.
Yes. Yeah. It was almost like The Raw tag match was good and better than I thought it was going to be, but still just good. And the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was great because it was the first proper pay-per-view match back live with a pay-per-view with a crowd, but still in the long run just good.
Yeah.
So good, great kind of thing. So yeah, I think 8 is a
yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's the highest we've scored a pay-per-view in a while now.
In a long time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I know we had said that fans obviously do have a thing to do with it, and it's proven,
yeah.
But yeah, the everything of late has been absolutely god awful. But this is proving that hopefully they're starting to move in the right direction. Raw doesn't exactly seem like it may be the case with certain things, but I hopefully over the most part of the next coming months, maybe over the next few weeks, into SummerSlam, they're actually thinking ahead.
Yeah.
And I hope that they are. I really do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential there for future stuff.
I am kind of intrigued to what Lesnar's stance is on the company at the minute, because they always keep it quite close to their chest what the communication is between Lesnar and WWE. There could be already talks of like, okay, you'll return, but not now, or you'll return here. Or they could not be talking to each other at all. I really don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'd want, at least for a couple more matches, I think I want to see Lesnar back at least one more time.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I'm ready now. He's been gone for a while.
Yeah,
so.
but you see his new haircut?
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
It kind of looks
like
like
the beard, nice trim beard.
It's one of those things where it's like he looks like the dad that's trying to be cool, but on the same side, I wouldn't dare say your haircut looks shit.
He will eat you for lunch.
Yeah, I'd just be like, dude, you do what you want to do. Mate.
That's what you want, mate. You rock it.
Yeah, that's right. That's cool. But maybe lose it before you return, because
he tends to. Normally, when he goes for his new haircuts or his new beard growth and that, by the time he goes back to WWE, he's back to the same.
I'm fine with him coming back with the beard.
Oh yeah, me too.
Beard
awesome.
Rock it, but maybe he looks almost like he's become the next Heyman with the little ponytail thing. That's like, yeah, I know you guys are friends, but let's not go that way. But yes, there you go.
Yeah, Money in the Bank 2021, all done and dusted. Really great pay-per-view. 5 weeks until SummerSlam. We're going to see it in Glasgow. I don't know how it's going with doing this podcast, because we're there and we come back on the Sunday, don't we?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do it on the Sunday, maybe we'll do it on the Monday. We generally don't know, depends how tired we are. But it's not really that far, is it, to be perfectly honest?
Do it on the plane.
Imagine that, with all these screaming babies in the background and all that shit. We're landing, you need to turn your thing off. Fuck you, I'm rating!
We could say they're our live audience.
Yeah, live audience.
Not by choice, they can't leave.
It'd be good if we could stay in the hotel room, we could just sit and do it in there, but...
Yeah, I mean, if the thing's going to be... Let me think. We could potentially do it somewhere, because we'd have to be out of the room by noon, but our flight's not till like 4. So if we find a restaurant, or just get to the airport early and find a nice quiet
Or ask
area.
Matt if we can borrow his van.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see.
We'll figure it out.
You'll know when it's on.
Yeah. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, and we'll be back in 5 weeks.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.